Hello, just a very quick video to show you how you can do a little miniature floral. This is probably going to be broken up into a couple of sections. This is just a small, I don't know, 4-inch square of my watercolour paper, and you can see I've just dabbed some masking fluid on there and allowed it to dry. Next, it's going to have a bit of fun with it. So let's imagine there's some blue sky up here. I'm just using a size 6 synthetic brush. Okay, blue sky. Remember, things are lighter at the horizon. So let's drop in a little bit of sky, nice and loose. And what's going to happen is when I remove this masking fluid, we're going to have a nice effect. Okay, right. Now down the bottom we're going to make some greens. So water, followed by some lemon yellow. Okay, and drop a little bit of burnt sienna in as well. A bit of warmth at the bottom. Okay. A teeny bit of ultramarine in the bottom as well. Yeah, that will mix to make some blue greens. And also a bit here to give a bit of distance on the horizon. Now I'm going to go down to a size 2 rigger and flick. Go with the flow a little bit. You want this to all blend in, do its own thing. Okay. Okay. And then once this is done, I'm going to leave it to dry. You want it to be nice and loose and simple. Okay, that is step 1. A bit more yellow. There we go. That's just some lemon yellow mixed in there. A bit more blue in the corner. Ultramarine. Let's give a bit of definition. And then we pause the video. Hang on. Okay. Pause the video and let it dry. Right, part 2 of this little teeny weeny miniature picture I'm doing, which I think might be flowers. This is dried, that first layer that I dropped in that was just different yellows and blues and a bit of green. And I quite like the fact that it's gentle. If I were to put a lot of water on here now, this would all just become a blur because that's what this paper does. So instead, I'm going to use a smaller brush and just put some detail in. So let's start off just with the green. Just add in a few little lines like this. Okay. Now, that's not really what it looks like, is it, when you look at grass and things? But we're building up layers here. And because this is almost, it's almost a bit like dry brush, but there's a bit more moisture. I'm trying to build a sort of a shape that suggests you're kind of going to go through a pathway. Okay, so there, that's quite dark, isn't it? So what we'll do now is add some yellow, similar way, not too much water because it will make it all blur. Just add some light in with lemon yellow. And it'll start to bring it to life gradually. Okay. Remembering that when you look at something that's got the light coming through it, it is going to look lighter than down at the roots, where there's not a lot of sun coming through. So, okay, a bit more yellow here. You can see I'm just touching the paper. Right, a bit more yellow. Maybe a few flicks of yellow as well. Flicky flick flick. Quite like this bit here. Might do another one of those. We're going to get a bit of blue now, just to add a bit more definition at the bottom. Okay, coming in from the side as well. Okay, right, there we go. Right, it's quite a big gap between these two little bits here, so I'll just do a couple of smaller flicks around here as well, maybe breaking it up a little bit, you know, maybe the breeze is making everything go a bit wispy as well. There we go. Right, okay. Can you see down here this has got a bit wet and it's starting to blur? I didn't really want it to get that wet, so I'm going to just leave that alone for a minute. On that side, I'll just put that in there. There we are. Okay, can you see there's just a suggestion of green along there, which kind of lends itself to there being a distant horizon. I think I'm going to add just a teeny bit of a, no, hang on, that's a very weak wash of a green there, but still too dark, so let's just take a bit off. I might come back to that later. So that's part 2 of a little miniature floral painting, and that was 5 minutes. I'm going to pause it there, and I'll hopefully the final layer, it might be 4 layers, I'll do next, and then I'll add all the videos together and pop them on the Patreon page. Okay, that's all for now. Oh, I'll actually do some PDF tutorials you can print off and download as well. Yeah, so they'll be over there too. Okay, subscribe if you like. There's more videos coming soon. Thank you, bye. Okay, I'm back after a little pause in that video. This has all dried, and you can see where the masking fluid is. This is actually a bit of an experiment because I've got a funny feeling. I can show you the technique on this paper, but this is a very, very, what's the word for it? The paper's, you need to be gentle with it. And I've got a feeling that maybe some of this masking fluid might tear the surface. Normally I would use this technique on a smooth watercolour paper, but I was in a mood to try something different, so that's what we did. But I have a feeling that it could all go wrong when I try to get it off, which I'm going to do now. So you just need to rub gently, and oh, that bit worked okay, but I have a feeling some of them might tear. When you're using masking fluid, you must use it on dry paper, otherwise it is likely to tear. Yeah, you can see it's pulling away the surface a little bit here. Tear the paper if it's damp. Likewise, if you try to paint over it before it's completely dry, that also will damage the paper. So this little experiment is going to probably be a how not to do it. Because I'm going to end up with some tears, unfortunately. But I will continue just so that I can show you the technique. Let me just go for it. Yeah, you see, it's, whether I do it gently or hard, it's going to damage the paper. Okay. Bit of a shame, really. Actually, it's not so bad. Maybe it's just the surface. Okay, I will persevere with it. It's not as clean as it would normally be. So I will demonstrate to you doing it on a smooth paper as well. I'll grab a piece in a minute and we'll add that on to the end of this video. So let's get rid of that. I'm not particularly happy, but we can still make a picture from it. Okay. Yeah, it's not ideal. But for purposes of demonstration, that's why you must test your paper with your techniques and get to know what works for your technique and your style. So, but I'll just continue quickly I'm going to just pop a little bit more lemon yellow on here. Going straight out of the tube actually, just I lost the lid to this paint earlier, so I wouldn't necessarily normally do this. This one's actually gone a bit hard. Okay, so you get a nice variety of shades and things. Just randomly flicking a bit of a really translucent wash of lemon yellow around. Okay. Now the idea with this would be, I'm going to do it anyway, to take the colour and make some like wildflower shapes. This is a bit of purple. So if this were cleaner and the paper was whiter, you can actually get some quite nice effects. Just a few dots around here, there and everywhere. Purple. Coming down here. Perhaps actually the background could be some kind of field in the background. Just going to sneeze. Sorry, bless me. Right. So I quite like my paintings to be asymmetrical, especially if I'm doing something flowery-ish, also known as floral. So drop that in, and then I'm going to add a little bit of blue around the place. Okay. Right. As you can tell, I'm quite a spontaneous painter, so I kind of think while I'm at it. Just going to add a little bit more blue down here. This is just pure ultramarine. It just brings things forward a little bit. Okay, there's that. And a bit more yellow as well. So just a few little dabs, just to bring some light. And also to contrast with the blue up here. There we go. Can you see how just adding a few little dots brings it to life? I quite like this now, actually, thinking I was going to chuck it away. So I think I'm going to call this a mini meadow. I think it also needs a little teeny bit more of the blue just here. So, ready. Maybe just a few little ones. Just because that's what happens. What do we think so far? Okay, I'm going to leave this to dry, then I'll come in with some final touches. Where's my camera? There. The paper hasn't behaved too badly, but I think this paper's better using a wax resist technique, but then you can't go back in with the colour because you can't paint over it at all. But yeah, let's leave it to dry and then come back to it and finish it off, and then you'll see the finished mini meadow. Okay, bye bye for now. Right, okay, on to finishing touches. So this is fully dried, and you can see that it's faded quite a lot, soaked into the paper quite a lot, but the composition of it I like. So I've mixed up a few different shades of purple here. So they are ultramarine and Crimson Lake, which is quite a warmish red. If you look at any flower, you'll see that there's lots of different shades in the colours. It's never just one colour. So all I'm going to do now, just to bring this to life a bit, is just take some of these different bits of purple, just put a few little dots like this. This is the warmest, probably. I'm actually going to use a little miniature brush. This is a 4-0 brush. Then I know that it's not going to go running around the paper everywhere, the paint. So, and I can get some nice little random shapes. Okay. So each layer I've done, I've essentially gone, you know, the sky was done with a big round brush and the yellow background at the bottom. And then I've kind of gone in with a smaller brush on each layer. So I'm just imagining that there's a kind of a bit of a breeze blowing around the place. You know, just to get some, imagine there's some flowers here. It's all a bit dull down here in the middle actually. Okay. Needs a bit of variation. So what I might do is, actually I quite like that now. When you look at things closer to you, they're going to appear a bit bigger. So these little dots kind of suggest it's further away. So bigger and a more intense colour will suggest it's closer. I'm going to put one down here, maybe with the reddish purple. There we are. Just dot a few little bits of the more reddish, warmer colour. There we go. How's that looking? Possibly a little bit of here needed. When you're doing this, try to kind of go backwards and forwards across the painting, and then it will stop you from being kind of accidentally getting everything too symmetrical. So sort of side to side, backwards and forwards, like this. Okay. I think I might leave it soon. See, those two are a bit too blobby together, aren't they? How's that looking? We're almost there. Knock these back a little bit up here. Look a little bit too perfect. Just take a bit off, and that bit there as well. Looking a bit too dark and a bit too drawn. What do we think? It's a bit more of the red maybe. If I put too much more on, this is going to start going brown. So what I'm going to do is a little bit of lemon yellow, again just a few dots with a teeny weeny brush so as not to disturb the undercoat too much, remembering that yellow actually works really well with purple, so it will also bring the rest of the painting to life. So I think the only colours I've used in this actually are lemon yellow, ultramarine, and the crimson lake, so really any kind of red. As long as you can make a kind of variety of purples and greens, that's all you really need. So, considering I nearly threw this away because I thought maybe the masking fluid might have damaged the paper too much, actually it's kind of coming good. Just a suggestion of sky as well, not too much. I quite like that. A bit more over here. There we go. I think I'm going to call this done. So that is a mini meadow on a handmade 100% cotton rag paper, masking fluid flicked on to start with, and then a layer of ultramarine for the sky and a lemon yellow at the bottom for the first layer, and then I've just built up layers of those colours in different mixes. So yes, that's it. And if you'd like to learn more about my techniques and how you can achieve things like this, including an example on a different kind of paper, actually I'll do this on a smooth paper as well, so that you can see the definition, and then we can compare the two. So yeah, that's my mini little meadow, Mini Meadows. What a good name. Okay, subscribe if you'd like to. I've also set up a Patreon channel which is in its early stages, but I am getting the hang of it, so I really appreciate your support. Or of course, if you just want to watch my videos here on YouTube, you know where to find me. Okay, bye for now, thank you.